Mm. Woo! Wow. Hey guys, back again. It's I, your host, Simon Omushore. And it's good to be back. It's good to be here. My apologies for being late. It's never my plan or idea to be late. I was running through a few technical difficulties, but it's always good to be back here. So, yeah. Hey guys. Today is going to be really, really good because, I'm really speaking about things that I feel is really, really current and will really help people, especially when it comes to finding work. Let me just do this quickly, guys. But yes, it's good to be here. I hope everyone's had a fantastic week. I hope everyone is enjoying the weather. The weather right now in London town is phenomenal. It's absolutely amazing. And, it's taken a while, but we're here and we're enjoying. Also, to all my football fans who are loving it right now, the Euros are on. And it's been really, really good so far. I can't really complain. So if you are checking it out and enjoying, then that's good to know. Also, what else I wanted to say? So last week, what was I discussing last week? What was it? Talk about selling yourself. So last week I talked about how to stand out in the crowd. And that is really, 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 really important, especially when you're in a workplace and you know that you want to stand out to not only to get a promotion, but you want to be able to position yourself for people to see who you are, so that in the event of things or opportunities, you come at the forefront of people's minds, because you want to be seen as someone who's effective rather than someone who's just existing, especially in a company. But we are talking about conflict, and conflict is something that we all face. There's nothing. Let me do it like that. I think it's better. Yeah, conflict is something that we all face. It's not something that you can run away from. It's not something you can shy away from. But I think there are tools that can definitely help you in getting through it. So I want to firstly say that I think when it comes to conflict, I think generally there are two positions you're going to have. You're going to have one when you're going to stand your ground and be defensive. And then there's the other, which is the other extreme, where you're going to be almost just receiving it. And to be honest, I don't think one is better than the other, but I think there are things that can be learned from both, which is better to say. I think there are things you can learn from both, and I just want to share my my stance on the things that can really help you in regards to solving conflict at work. So, where is my notepad? Oh, look at it. It's just casually on the floor. Okay. Here we go. All right. So, like I said, in regards to, it's a little bit crazy right now. Like I said, in regards to having conflict, it's you can't avoid it. When there is people, there will be politics, and when there are politics and different personalities, things can happen. But I think the best place to start when you're dealing with any kind of conflict is this, and this is the best position you want to have. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Now, you could be like, what the hell does that mean? And for a long time, I didn't even understand what this term actually meant. But what it means is that you want to be in the position, no matter what the conflict is that you're not seeking to be defensive, to stand your ground. You're not seeking to be right. You're not seeking anything else other than to understand the position of where the conflict is coming from. And that is very, very difficult because, naturally we have a default. And depending on your personality, you could be quite like, confrontational, or you may just be quite, and you just may just receive stuff, like I said initially. And again, neither are great, neither are good, because they're not good for you, they're not good for the workplace, and it doesn't breed the right things. The best way to do it is to position yourself to understand. And a lot of the times that may not be at the time that everything is going on. Depending on the situation, you may have to take, a decision to maybe just like remove yourself from the situation and then go back and address the situation. Maybe it's something that you do with someone else that's part of the team, or with your manager, or someone who can be, in between, a mediator. That's it, a mediator between you, so that you can understand what it is that's been said, and then you can express yourself to then be understood by the person. And I think if both parties are doing that and working towards that, then there was always going to be peace. But your initial starting place for any conflict that does happen at your workplace, it has to be this position where you seek first to understand and then to be understood. And I think once you do that, what you do is you remove kind of yourself, and your feelings from the situation, and it allows you to go into the following steps, which is very, very important, which is this one. Now, I think this is one of the hardest skills that anybody can learn. I feel this is one of the hardest things, because you've been in a situation where you may have had an argument with someone at work, and you're so sure that the way that you do a particular task, it's this thing. I know it's this way. I know that, when it comes to finding a lead, that you should do it this way. And someone could say like, no, it's this, and it can spiral out of control, or something as small as a simple set of sequences that you would use to achieve a task. Someone may do another way, you may do another way. But this skill is one of the biggest. Once you've gone through, seeking to understand the other person's point of view, you've gone from, that position where you're seeking to understand that position, is now listening without an opinion. I honestly think it's one of the hardest, like literally taking in information that could be totally contrary to what you actually believe, and not even showing that opinion while you're listening. Because a lot of people, including myself, we don't actually listen. What we do is we react instead of actually listening, because listening is it's almost like a position of receiving, almost you could say stillness. So to actually do it is very, very difficult. Even for myself, it's very, very difficult. But listening and removing your opinion is very, very key, because what that will allow you to do is it will allow you to go on from the next part, from that first part. Because without actually, if you don't listen without an opinion, you haven't really listened, because all you're doing is just in one ear and out the other. What you want to do is you want to remove your opinion, and then when you'll be able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it in, think about what's been said, and then when you're able to listen, take it and then you can respond. And that is what listening is. But for you to actually do it, you have to actually remove your opinion. But more so, the better way to look at it is you got to remove yourself. Because if you remove yourself, you will have the capabilities of actually listening. And that's really going to help, especially in the workplace environment, because things can really get quite hectic, especially in work, depending on your work environment. Sometimes work can be really fast paced, and if things blow out, it could almost distort the flow of things. It can also distort the way that you even work. You know, when people are stressed, when people are angry or upset, especially in an emotional state, it's not impossible, but it's very difficult to achieve what you set out to do in terms of your actual goals if you're in a place of stress or you're in a place of conflict with someone else that's part of the same team. You're not really going to perform at the same level. So definitely, first things first, seek first to understand, which is very, very important, and then listening without an opinion. Now, that then moves on to the third point. Because once you're able to seek first to understand, you're positioning yourself in a place where you're listening, you're taking it in. You know, you've then gone into, okay, I'm trying to do that. I'm listening, removing my own opinion, trying to see what their opinion is. You can then focus on the best outcome. And this one is also quite difficult because sometimes the best outcomes isn't the one that you want. Sometimes the best outcome is you apologizing. Sometimes the best outcome is you making the first step. It's you giving doing the olive branch, but it's for the better outcome. And you could say it's the bigger man sometimes, or it's just the right thing to do. And I feel that's what it is. That's what it is. You want to be able to look at a situation. You want to be able to see what the best outcome is. But the only way you can determine what the best outcome is to, really understand the person's position. And that one is very difficult. It is very, very difficult, but it's doable. It's doable. Even if you don't understand it fully, I think even understanding it partially will help you along that journey towards finding the understanding to which you seek. And also as a person who's part of the team, finding the best outcome is, you could say, is your responsibility. As someone who's a team member, who's part of a team, your responsibility is to make sure that you're doing your part to get the best out of your team, because there is no I in team, as you guys know the famous saying, there's no I in team. But corporately and together, you and your team are both there to achieve a greater goal. So you are your brother's keeper. You are part of that team that's, going on to do great things. But in order for you to do great things corporately, there's got to be harmony. And it's not just harmony between you and maybe the person of conflict. It's harmony between the whole team and everyone. That's everyone's responsibility. That's not just, you and someone else that's having conflict. That's everyone's responsibility, is that we are all trying to understand each other. We are all listening and removing ourselves so that we can understand fully. We are all responsible for focusing and trying to find the best outcomes to resolve misunderstandings and to get to that best outcome. I think then it's this point here, communicating effectively. And that's basically it. I mean, we've got some comments going on. Synergy. I love it. Thank you, Peter. Yep. Communicating effectively. And I think that's just what it is. That's what communicating effectively is. Communicating effectively is about listening. and not responding or reacting. It's about harmonizing what someone is saying to you, and doing so without, the anger or that confrontational spirit, can we say? I think once you've gotten to at least this stage, you want to be in a place where you're a lot more closer to harmony than you are against it. And it's very, very, this stuff is very, very difficult. I think even me now, funny enough, I had an issue with my sister earlier. It's her birthday today, and what did she want to do? She wanted to do something, and I wasn't able to make it. And she was unhappy about it, but I never understood what she was saying, and I just stood my ground. Like, no, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. But I realized that I didn't see the full context of what it is that she was saying. So just to contextualize everything, my sister, she was away working. She came back. And it was her birthday today. I messaged her today as I would. And she's going again next week or the week after next. She's going away. And I didn't really see the importance of what she was saying in regards to, like, I haven't been around for a year, and you haven't really been like, oh, let's go and do something. Let's go, actually be proactive about seeing her before she leaves again for a year or maybe even longer. And I didn't see that perspective. So that's why it's very interesting how, this is kind of falling in line, because I think, I'm kind of learning from my own notes. But it's all good. I did manage to, apologize and really, really tell her I'm really, really sorry that I didn't see that you were looking at it from wider, not just your birthday, but, the fact that time is so rare, and that, you are going to be gone for so long, and you have been gone for so long, and now you're back. It's not really taking use of the time to take advantage of that before you go again. Because, anything could happen, and we only have now, and it's very, very important. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I think it's just something that I was able to see myself today, just knowing where I went wrong, because all I was like, no, what you're doing doesn't make any sense, and it should be done this way. And it's not, it's so limited sometimes. Sometimes the perspective we have is so limited, and that's why I really, really try my hardest to really implement how I can seek first to understand, truly listen without, having my own opinion. And a lot of that is really coming from being calm, and really allowing things to, kind of resonate. And then, really focus on the best outcomes, which is, my sister being upset, which is, I don't want her to be upset, especially on her birthday. Like, why should she need to be upset on her birthday? And then seeing how I can communicate in a way that isn't going to aggravate her anymore, or aggravate the situation anymore, because it's not going to do me any good, me being like, pissed off, or me, projecting that back onto her. It's just spiraling out of control. So the best position is to really just come, listen, try to understand, and really ask the right questions, to really understand. And that leads on to this point, which is, I think is really, really good. Obviously, I mentioned something that's quite personal, as a thing of conflict, but I think this one's really, really good, which is put a plan together and put it into motion. So I think, obviously, once you've understood the person, your manager, your colleague, you've gone through the steps. You're listening without an opinion. You've brought down your walls. You've calmed your demeanor, and you're seeking for the best outcome. I think then you can have steps to put a plan together, to rectify it. It may not be the best, or the best option, but at least there's a step toward a different direction of harmony instead of discourse and anarchy. And so there was a few things that I had written down, which is, especially when it comes to have a plan, it's just, from learning, what's actually happened. So you're learning from, the behavior and the events of what's happened. You then be able to identify the points of the agreement and disagreement. Once you're able to do that, you're then able to, develop what areas you did agree on and what areas you can agree on, and go from there together. Because if you're focusing on the disagreements, then there's no progress. Whereas focusing on the agreements that where you can meet, 50-50 or agree fully, at least those are steps towards, an actual action plan of how you can resolve an issue. I think as well, just talking about like plans and things at work, I feel that, when you are speaking with, especially, the tricky ones is trying to, how do you go about solving conflict, especially with management? That one is really, really difficult, I find, because man, thanks, Oaks. I think one of the things that's really, really difficult when you're dealing with conflict with management is because a lot of the time it can be based around performance. So, and not to say that you're performing bad, but a lot of the time, the conflict that's coming from management, it can be papered or be put into a box of, oh, but he's not doing this or she's not doing that. And I think it's very, very important that, if you do manage to get into a conflict with management, the best thing to do is to, again, seek first to understand. And then what you want to do is you want to try and get everything documented. So if you feel like there's some sort of bullying or something that's taken place in that capacity, what you want to do is you want to try and get maybe some of the things that they've said, or maybe things that they've said about you or your character or whatever. You want to try and get that in an email, and you want to try and get that exchange going on. Maybe it's you discussing something over email, something where you can document what exactly is going on from the management's perspective. Because what that allow you to do is that allow you to have a copy of what's actually going on. I know a lot of people have found themselves with issues with management, and it becomes me against that person, your manager. And more times than none, the manager is always going to win because of the position that that person is in. So which is why I would really hope that, for you, those of you who are watching, will understand that it can't be your word against theirs. It's got to be in text, and text is really going to help in allowing things to be clearer for you. But also, if you are to take it further and take it to other management, then you're able to show what exactly has happened, as well as other witness accounts to support the written exchange between you and a manager. So that's what I really wanted to add on that. Also, I guess with people, even before I go on, now I know I didn't say it before. But guys, every time, and it's every Wednesday, if you do have any questions, especially on conflict, because conflict is really, really big, or anything on jobs or careers, then please do jot your comments in the comments part, because there is a lag and I don't want to miss anything. If you haven't already, hit the like button, share, and subscribe, as that would be fantastic. But what was I saying? Yes, that's what I was saying. That was really random, and I am random if you didn't know. But I was talking about conflict with management, and now just to really round up is conflict with, I guess you could say, your fellow man. Best thing always I always think the best thing to do is to walk away from the situation, as you don't want to do it in front of the client, the customer. It's not professional, and it will never ever make you look good. And is it worse? Yeah, it's always going to be worse in front of a customer and a client, because not only are they there, but they feel it. They feel it, and they're going to feel it a lot longer than you did. It's always going to come across way more harsher on them because they're relaxed. They're not as amped as you are. So for them, it's always going to be more harsh. So if you do find yourself where you're going to go into an argument, hopefully verbal argument with a colleague, then do walk away, because it won't exhibit the right things on your character and theirs either. So, don't take this. No, I'm not asking you to take responsibility for their actions, but more so take responsibility for your own actions, because that's the only thing that you are genuinely responsible for. So make sure you do walk away so that you're able to show your professionalism, but also that you're trying to, you're making the steps towards the best outcome. And I know that can be difficult because of pride and, and all these other things that can happen in a workplace, but it is the best position. So I hope that really helps. I am still learning myself, even as someone who's a business owner and someone who is looking to soon hire. I definitely understand that conflict is something that's inevitable, but it's always about trying to work out the best steps. So that does bring my presentation to a close. For all those people who are watching, thank you so much. And thank you, Peter. Peter's always he's always showing me love, guys. So Peter, thank you. So yeah. But before I do close, I do like to open up the floor. So if there are any questions, this is your moment. What you got? What you got for me? Okay. I do not believe there are any more questions, and that is totally fine. But I really hope this has helped, and I hope everyone is indoors, because torrential rain we're on the precipice of torrential rain. I did get caught in a little bit before I left. So yeah, I hope everyone's indoors, and yeah, they're enjoying the heat, because yeah, I'm feeling really hot right now. I think it's this ring light that's making me really, really hot. But thanks again, guys, for watching. It's always a pleasure. If you haven't, hit the like button, subscribe, share, and I shall see you all next week. Have a fantastic week, and I shall see you then. Do take care. Good night, and God bless.